I'm not going to lie, we were gossiping downstairs. I had no idea this had started. Hello, how are we? Good. I should have said, are we well? Good. I couldn't make the offstage announcement because we've used all of the microphones to do this. Basically what this is, I'll take you through what it's going to be. Just to be clear, this is becoming a podcast. So you've paid for something you could have got for free. This is always a gamble to ask this question. So I say lie because we're being recorded. I want a big cheer. Who has listened to the X of M show before? Good. Right, shall we see honestly who has listened to the X of M show before? Far less than last night. Some of you have turned up and gone, what the fuck are these tables for? So, shall we meet everyone involved? Please welcome to the stage, one at a time, from right to left, Matthew Crosby. Nish Kumar. Suzi Ruffell. James Acaster. And for the first or second time in public view, producer Neil. He is the man that produces the show. So let's all sit down and begin. Yeah. James.
Hi, mate.
Sorry, I've just been talking to that side of the room. Are you all right, James?
Okay. Yeah, pretty good on this side, me and Suzi.
Nailing it, yeah.
Yeah, just I'm being careful with my T-shirt. I have to make sure all letters are on display at all times.
That is a joke that the podcast listeners are going to fucking love. We're giving you your money.
Cover up the letters S and T and you've got an actual stag do T-shirt.
Yeah. That guy will be getting so many high fives all night. Not just a normal one, the master.
No one expects that from Acaster, but I like it when you go a bit blue. I will say one thing as well. Something we've learned over the course of Josh and I have only been up here for 2 days,
yep.
And I've realised, which I mentioned a bit yesterday, is that my job is to hold the camera when people who recognise Josh want a photo. And I mentioned it in yesterday's show, and then after the show, someone came up and said, "Oh, can we have a photo with all of you guys together?" And I'll hold the camera, ha ha ha. And they went, "Yeah, seriously, we just meant Josh and James." So me and Nish had to step out of a photo we'd stepped into.
Also, hands down, the happiest looking person in that photo is me.
Yeah. Someone's seen Sweat the Small Stuff. I fucking love it.
Mate, I gave Nick Grimshaw what for.
Now, let's get on with the show. There are 2 topics today. Suzi, you have been in charge of vetting the audience topics. What are the 2 topics today, Suzi?
The 2 topics are sending a text to the wrong person or replying all nightmares, and minor reasons to hate your partner's ex.
Okay. Well, we should throw it open to the... Should we throw it open to the panel, or should we have an audience? Have the panel got anything to chip in on this?
When I was my girlfriend, now wife, when I was going to move in with her,
yeah,
we were moving in together.
Have you not moved in with her?
I have, but I was using the past tense there to suggest the story happened in the past, Josh.
Oh, right, okay. God, you took that photo badly, didn't you?
Happening in the past, just like my career.
Tell me what,
2012 photos every day.
I had my photo taken with Josh and James by a small man in a nightie.
But it was the interim before we moved into a house together, and she was coming home. We were living in a house with my housemates. It was a bit awkward. All her stuff was there. It was kind of... she arrived home early, didn't have the keys, and she texted her friend, Christian. She texted, I'm sat on the stairwell. Matthew's not here. This whole idea of moving in with him is so fucking depressing. Sent it to me. This was about 6 or 7 years ago. I was at the time recording a podcast. How far my career has come. Just hopping from podcast to podcast like Johnny Appleseed. It was... I immediately cut the podcast short. The internet was devastated. Hopped in a taxi and had to do some serious
Did you
lovemaking. I don't know what
some serious lovemaking?
No, I had to go do some serious kind of, this is going to be all right, Chippy, it's going to be okay. Shouldn't have used the pet name I use for my wife on the podcast.
But in case anyone didn't catch it, it was Chippy.
It's Chippy, yeah.
Chippy.
Chippy or the Chipster.
I've got one that I got sent by my flatmate that was meant for his girlfriend when I was at uni. I think I might have said this before, but it's... and it's worse than Chippy. So I was downstairs. This was so mortifying that we've never brought it up. Because even though I wanted to take the piss, it was just too awkward. So his girlfriend had gone out, and he'd obviously tried to call her and not got through. So the text he sent me was, just wanted to give you a snuggle call. Hope you're having a snunky time. Monker loves monkey.
Yes. A friend of mine had a similar. Another comedian had a similar one when he was doing an advert, and the director of the advert texted him the day before saying, "I won't say, but is it hello Milton?"
It could be one of the many Miltons, don't worry.
Could have been anyone in comedy. Hello, Milton. Very looking forward to working with you on the advert tomorrow. I've got some really great ideas. I think we're going to make something really good. And Milton texts back going, yeah, brilliant. Can't wait to meet you. And then the same guy texted him immediately saying, duvet day. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Can't wait to hug you and kiss you all day long.
And to be fair, that advert was brilliant.
Good.
So we come to the final section of the show, which is James Acaster's scrape. Henry will be drawing this scrape, and we'll give the drawing to the person we consider did the best text. We'll discuss that at the end. Not text, best anecdote. We'll discuss that at the end.
Whittles, are you a tiny bit pissed?
Nah. So, James, a scrape you've got into.
Hello, Josh. This is basically the worst gig I've ever done.
Cheers, mate.
So I refuse to tell a scrape. You can all go fuck yourselves.
That Dido reference deserved a lot more.
Yeah. Not many people reference Dido, guys. You don't know how good you've got it.
No.
Not that funny. Fuck yourself. I was asked to sort out the comedy lineup for a festival called Fellfoot Sound. It's the first time they'd ever done the festival in North Yorkshire in the Fellfoot Woods. And I sorted out me and a bunch of friends. We were told we were going to do comedy around a campfire. The rest of the whole weekend was experimental bands, and that we'd be doing comedy around a campfire. It'd be very nice. We were told it was going to be a lovely, lovely gig.
Why were you asked?
Why? The organizer, I used to be in a experimental band also, and he used to book us for gigs. And he said, "Are you doing comedy now? You can come and do some comedy at the gig."
What was the name of that band?
The band was called The Wow Scenario. It was the best band ever. The Wow, that name again, The Wow Scenario.
And they're still on MySpace, so...
Didn't it have an exclamation mark after wow as well?
Yes, exclamation mark in the middle of the name. How many bands do that? No one.
No.
They're so
Godspeed You Black
experimental. They
Emperor
weren't
did
even
that.
on MySpace. They were on LinkedIn.
Business. So I sorted out a lineup, and we made our way down to North Yorkshire, up to North Yorkshire. On the way there, we stopped off at Tesco and bought loads of marshmallows because we thought we'd toast them around the campfire with all the festival goers.
Fucking hell, pretty rock and roll, isn't it?
And we arrived at the Fellfoot Woods, and the promoter said, right, we've been told that because it's the last day of the festival, we've got an early curfew now. The last 2 nights they haven't been happy with how loud the music's been, so the music has to stop at 10. So we're wondering, if we stop the music at 10, the comedy can start then in front of everybody, so the comedy will be the only thing on.
Oh, God. So you were headlining the festival?
Headlining the whole festival.
You were doing Sunday night?
Yeah, we're doing the last night, closing
You were
it.
Kasabian?
Yeah. We were Bruce Springsteen. And as far as the punters were concerned as well, they thought it was carrying on as late as normal, and they didn't know comedy was even at the festival at all.
Imagine Glastonbury, 10:30, on the pyramid stage, And now, Josh Widdicombe.
Good evening, Glastonbury.
Toilets, eh?
Oh, kettles and toasters. Oh, nightmare.
You go in one, and, has anyone been to the Thai food stand? Thing with Thai food, I mean, what is it? It's not Chinese, it's not Indian. It's sort of, no, don't throw those.
Your Widdicombe impression is starting to sound like a drunk Alan Partridge.
Let's get back to Acaster. Bit of focus, guys, bit of focus.
So yeah, we were told this, and the last band played, and they stopped at 10, and the audience loving it, expecting there to be at least 2 more hours of music, and then an old man called Barry walked on stage, and
What kind of stage was it?
this was it was actually a lot like this. It was on the floor, and the audience were raked on a hill. The audience were on a hill, looking down on the stage. So
Was it a proper stage with
there was lights and everything. Yeah, it was very it's a proper stage.
And how many people are we talking about? How many?
We're talking, I'd say about 500 people at this particular festival. So Barry walks on, and Barry owns the woods. They're Barry's woods. He owns Fellfoot Woods. They're his woods. He's given these people permission to have a festival there, and he walks on, and they go ballistic. They love Barry.
How old's Barry?
Barry is probably late 70s, early 80s. He's an old man. He walks on, they go crazy for him. And Barry has so far closed every day of the festival by reading a poem. So he walks on, applauding the band, and then they start shouting, "Read us a poem, Barry, read us a poem." And he goes, I can't read you a poem, actually, because I want to introduce some comedians. And they go, "Tell him to fuck off!" Pretty much all of them, really loud. Also, it has been pointed out to us that they've all been doing mushrooms for 3 days straight. So shouting.
Does this festival still exist?
I don't know. It might. It's the first.
Can I get on it next year?
Yeah, you can go. I can hook you
I'm a
up.
bit offended you didn't ask me to come if you're creating it.
Sorry, mate. Back then we weren't as tight, but now you'd be first dibs. So we're going to fuck off, and then eventually Barry yields to doing a poem, and he does a poem called "Into the Woods."
Have a fucking day off, Barry. We get it. You own the woods. Move on. I've got another one called King of the Trees.
If you go down to the woods today, you'll see me because I fucking own the woods.
The only line I remember from Into the Woods was "Into the woods, up to no good." That was it. That was all I can remember.
Silence!
That is a chapter title, weirdly. It's
So Barry does the poem, and at the end of the poem, he was "up to no good," and they all just erupt. They go ballistic. They're applauding. There's birds flying out of the trees. Everyone's loving Barry
They're called
so
women, mate.
much. Yeah. Also, while they were applauding Barry, I remember while they were applauding him, a guy jumped on stage and pointed at Barry like this. like an elf, just. So everyone applauded. So just in case people weren't sure exactly who they were applauding, it's Barry. It's Barry.
So to Barry was the hero. The first ever corporate I did. I've had to follow a guy. It was at end of, it was a company awards, and it was a guy who'd done 50 years of service called Roy, and he got a tearful standing ovation, and they said, "And now here's a new comedian, Roy." And
Sorry, Karen.
no, carry on.
No. I've not.
1 point for Moldova.
I've got a corporate story, but I'll
Yeah,
follow
go on.
yours.
No, go on.
I'm very bad at this. I don't know when it's my turn.
It's your turn.
Okay. I did a corporate for the Indian Tsunami Relief Fund.
Livid Kumar.
I mean, I'd take it if I'd have lost it to Romesh.
for £250, which is big corporate money.
I'm sure you did give it to the cause, though, didn't you?
They had enough good singles that they'll be fine from royalties.
The cause.
The cause there.
The cause.
A
That was
reference
the
from an
joke.
old Acaster joke, we assume.
And I was brought on by an ex-Blue Peter
Blue Peter.
presenter.
Hello.
Who
Can you hear me, Josh?
And what I followed, so it was in a function room at a hotel in Bristol, and I followed a very moving slideshow of some of the most explicit and harrowing images of the tsunami. And the tsunami was absolutely terrible, and an awful lot of people died. And then another victim died. Because after showing the slideshow, the ex-Blue Peter
Jesus.
Blue Peter.
and That's Life presenter said, right, now some light relief from a Bristol-based comedian. And then he read from, now there's a website called Comedy CV. Basically, when comedians start, they put up a CV onto a website and then they don't update it ever again. So he said, this young comedian has played gigs as far and wide as Plymouth's Fandango Club and the Taunton Brew House. The Bristol Evening Post has described him as fresh and original. Ladies and gentlemen, John Robbins. I then walked out on stage in front of about 50 people, all of whom were local businessmen from the Asian community who I then told about my life for 15 minutes. I was booked to do 30. I had followed a very moving slideshow of photos of people who had died, literally. And I left, and I took my check, and I promised I would never, ever do stand-up ever again.
John's show is on every day in the President's Courtyard. Do catch it. It's a
9:45,
hit.
ironically called This Tornado Loves You.
James, back to
Thank you, Josh. Barry finished. Everyone loved him. And then he said, now some comedy. I was the first act on. I walked on to boos. I've never been booed on stage before. I was booed quite ferociously on stage, and I walked on clutching all of the bags of marshmallows we had bought.
Oh no!
While throwing them into the audience as a way of it was like if you're thrown to a lion's den, that's like armed with nothing but raw meat, and you're just desperately trying to fend them off and just quell them in some way. And they were heckling for the whole gig. They were heckling, and they heckled all of us all the way through solidly. But there's one guy on the front who had like long hair and a beard, who wasn't shouting out like everyone else. He was just speaking, just doing a speaking volume, so only we could hear it. Which is more. If you want tips on how to really mess a comedian up, don't shout out. So just speak to them directly. He was just sitting on the front, and all he said for the whole gig, he just kept on going, "You can suck my dick, mate." Oi, mate, suck my dick. And you kind of be doing your gig, and then every now and again you kind of go, I don't want to... You could kind of carry on. You'd be trying to do it. There was one act on who I hadn't booked. I'd sorted out everyone apart from one guy who he went on, and we'd never seen him before. The promoter had booked him, and he went on, bearing in mind the rest of us were doing kind of like light whimsy, and we're getting abuse from these festival goers. This guy went on, and his opening line was, "Is it me or are all women lying whores?" was his first line, and he was the only one out of us.
Was it him or was it?
Huh?
Was it?
It was him, because he got a lot of bottles thrown at him, and a bag of marshmallows hit him square in the face. So I did throw it. they're all dying one by one, and the last act, my friend Nathaniel is on, and he's getting the same treatment. And then the guy who's been saying "suck my dick" for the whole thing, he stands up during Nathaniel's set, and he walks around the back of the stage and just approaches me and my friend David, who we're both on.
So was there back to the stage? So
not really. Yeah, kind of. No, not really. They could see the back. He was just walked. Everyone could see him, but like by that point, professionalism had gone out the window. It really wasn't an issue. And he came up to me, and I thought, right, I know what he's going to ask me, and I'm not going to do this. You're not here to collect what's rightfully yours. And he said, it's something he was friendly, and he went, you all right, mate? Look, you guys are struggling. You're a bit shit. No offence, but I reckon I could do better than this. Can I get on? I can just do a comedy set. And my friend David went, sorry, what are you planning on doing? He went, I'm just going to go on. I'm going to say, hey, everyone, 3 cheers for Barry. And I'm going to give a cheer for Barry. And then I'm just going to do 1 minute. I'll just do 1 minute of pure comedy.
And that man was Josh Widdicombe.
Yeah. This is how I met Josh.
You still haven't sucked my dick, though, have you?
There's a big finale tonight.
Yeah. Just,
well, medium-sized finale.
Just one day went by where you don't bring that up, Josh. Every morning I'll see Josh. You still haven't... Yeah, I know what I haven't done, Josh. Just leave it for 5 seconds. So he said he was going to go on to do that, and I thought, yeah, okay, because I don't like him. He hadn't been nice to us. I thought he was going to die along with the rest of us. He deserves it. So when Nathaniel finished, I walked on. I said, Felford Sound, the comedy's not over yet. You've got one more act. And he told me his name. So I said, please welcome one of your own, Rybo. What's his name?
What? How's he spelling that?
Rybo.
Rybo.
Rybo. His name was Ryan, and yeah, he was cool. So I introduced Rybo, and he walks on, and he walks on to the kind of applause normally reserved for Barry. It's ridiculous. They loved him, and I was like, "Oh shit, he's going to absolutely rip this, and we're going to look like a bunch of no-hopers." He goes on, he goes, "Hey, Felford Sound, how's it going?" Then massive cheer, a round of applause for Barry, huge cheer again, and then he launches into his 1 minute of pure comedy, and I apologise in advance for what I'm about to say. He went on, and he said, "Well, Felford Sound, I was in my tent last night. And there's a couple in the tent next door to me, and they were going at it. You know what I mean, mate? You know, they were going at it. And I heard the bloke at one point. He shouted, 'I'm gonna come in your pussy.' That was the reaction it got. Just silence. Everyone looking shocked, horrified, apart from one guy who looked really proud of himself. But like, everyone was appalled. It was a horrible thing to say. I walked on to the silence, and I went up to Rybo, who was still facing the crowd and looking. And I said, "Rybo, I think it's over, mate. I think that's it." And he went, "I thought that would go well." I said, I know you did, mate. We've all made mistakes tonight. I bought 10 bags of marshmallows on the way here. Like we've all misjudged this gig. Like Don't worry about it. Let's just get off now. And he kind of grabbed my arm and he went, please, just let me do one more joke. Something about how I was like, yeah, I know I shouldn't, Rybo, but you got to do it. And I was still on stage at this point. He didn't let me walk off stage before he did his joke. I was about a foot away from him. And he just turned to the audience and dropped his trousers immediately. And he kind of turned round 180 degrees, then dropped his boxer shorts so that it was just his butt. And then he turned all the way around again, revealing what is still to this day the most disfigured penis I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a penis with corners in it. Had one very prominent corner. There's more. So there's a corner, and me and my friend Chris both agreed that it was at least 75% bell end. Yeah.
So how big
looked
was
really
it?
awful, and I was there on stage with him still, and everyone gasped, obviously, and Rybo realised that it looked not impressive, so he started to try and make it look more impressive. Now, we're all adults, we know how this is done, so he started just tenderly at first, masturbating said penis into stuff like, but he'd been doing mushrooms for like 3 days straight. It was a slow process. So he's kind of I'm still next to him. It's still me and him. Still very much a double act at this point. And I like to think I'm the straight man.
Yeah, it's cannon and balls.
So he's doing that, and everyone's really... He's kind of waddling around. He's still got his trousers around his ankles. He's kind of like... and he
So
gets,
who's got the mic at this point?
no, there's no mic at this gig. There's no mic at the gig at all. There's because of the curfew, they'd done it acoustic in front of just the audience like that. So there's no mic. And he's...
Unplugged?
Yeah, unplugged. He's waddling around. He's furiously masturbating. He's having no effect at this point.
Oh my God!
Then he starts shouting out, "I'm going to come in your pussy." Now, that... comedically is a callback. He's shown a lot of professionalism. Under these circumstances, it's quite... I started respecting him for a second. And something about comedic structure, Rybo. It was pretty good that you brought that up. But I realise it's up to me to sort this out, and I'm out of my depth. I'm going to level with you. This doesn't happen often. The gigs I'm used to doing, I don't really know how to handle this. But I'm saved because there's a woman who's stood right at the back, and she spent the whole day dressed as a dog. Oh no, she was in a onesie dog outfit with big furry fluffy dog ears, and she stood up right at the back of the hill, right at the top of the hill, and she started running towards the stage. Her ears were flapping in the wind, really fast. She got to the lip of the stage and she jumped, and as she jumped, she clotheslined Rybo with her arm straight to the ground and started slapping him. But forehand and backhand, just pinning him down with her knees and just slapping him back and forth while he continued to masturbate and shout his catchphrase.
Did anybody film this?
No one
That is the
filmed
exact
it.
niche pornography I'm into. It really is.
It sounds like a scene from Lars von Trier's next film.
Literally, the woman dressed as a dog has pinned him to the floor. She's slapping him. He's masturbating, shouting his catchphrase. I'm stood there. And then they turned off the lights, and that was the end of the festival. That's how the whole festival ended.
I think that story might have just sold 200 extra tickets for next year.
Felfoot Sound.
Wow.
If she'd been dressed as a cat, it would have at least had narrative structure. And now we can recreate that scene. Gordon, come on down.
Wow. What a story. What, I mean, that's it.
Yeah.
And now all we have to do is reveal what Henry... I'm slightly worried.
And hammered.
And hammered. As to what
That
Henry
is one of the best pictures I've ever seen.
So, Packer, do you want to take us through your drawings? Do you want to bring them centre stage? And I think the drawings should be given to Laura, who provided our T-shirts. Can we have a loud round of applause for Laura, please?
Yay! Can we watch
Yeah,
them?
we'll
Because
do it.
he's so brilliant.
So to start with, I just did some warm-up cows. It's like Ruffell Nadal will eat a banana, and cartoonists will draw some cows. So we just standard cow, shifty-looking cow. It's an eyeball trick, and the silhouette adds to the sense of menace. Fast cow and French cow. They're just my practice cows. But yeah, they're not a big deal. Oh yes, so this was where cause it's quite difficult because I have to anticipate what's going to happen sometimes. So just because you said you had the worst gig of your life, so I just anticipated. I thought it was going to be you doing Def Jam comedy. James entering Def Jam comedy night.
Can we have that one back down? Josh is taking photos.
Yes.
For the listeners.
Go ahead.
Sorry, that sort of interrupted your rhythm.
So this Oh, yes. These are huge mountains of unsold WoW scenario merchandise. So
Too close to the truth, Packer. Too close.
we've got WoW scenario T-shirts. There's eagles to suggest that it's huge. Eagles living in there, and then some people have made favelas. Some people are living on the merchandise. And we've got the discontinued WoW scenario board game, WoW Scenario Jeopardy. There's a copy of that. Okay. Again, I had to anticipate. So, because it was in Yorkshire.
Yes.
I just said you said it'd gone badly, so I had to anticipate. I thought this is a huge wicker Yorkshireman who's wearing a wicker cloth cap, and you're inside him being burnt to death. That's just what I thought might. And it's also there's a wicker whippet as well next to it that they're setting fire to.
You've absolutely got Acaster nailed down there, mate.
I know, I've got it, haven't I? The sense of panic.
Classic scrape master.
This, I can't remember what the fuck this is.
The
Birds
applause
flying
for
out of a
Barry.
tree.
Birds flying out of a tree, correct, thank you. That's birds flying out of a tree.
Okay.
Is someone riding a bird?
Oh, yes, I did Josh riding a sparrow. Josh is riding a sparrow out.
He is quite small.
This is... I've no fucking idea what this is.
Is this Barry who owns all the trees?
Was there a big naked bald guy?
No.
I think I was picturing myself later on.
Is that Josh? Is that Josh again? Is that Josh in this?
It might be. It's probably Josh. I can't remember. Oh yes. So this is John Robbins doing a gig, comedy gig in front of a slide of the tsunami.
I love the stereotypical Chinese man flying across the...
It's a respectful.
It was the Indian tsunami.
No. That might not be. That could just be a.
At least be
that's not
racist
necessarily
accurately, mate.
What I love most about that is look, the dog looks like he was having an amazing time.
Also, the dog's going in the opposite direction.
Also, you've based me on the scientist from The Simpsons.
That's your
That
mouth.
is what you look like.
That is your
that
mouth,
you.
Robbins.
But how glad was I that I did those warm-up cows earlier? That's why it's worth doing.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus.
The picture James Acaster never wanted to come to light.
Here we go.
Him and
we were
Rybo.
all picturing it, so I just
Well,
thought...
for
'cause the
people at home, Packer's about to unveil a picture of James Acaster. How would you describe this?
vigorously giving oral sex to a man from the Yorkshire.
Yep, fair enough.
Yeah, because that
There it is.
I like the way he had it. He had a banner already made. Now
Now,
I will definitely
actually,
get sucked off this festival,
actually,
and I can't
Crosby,
wait to unfurl it.
whenever I administer oral sex, I give people that banner. I would like to point that
For
out.
listeners,
I
the
can you
banner
just hold
says this is brilliant.
Just hold this for my self-esteem, please.
that is a disgusted roach leaving the scene. And the last one is...
Can I just say, I've done Edinburgh the last 10 years. It's the most fun I've ever had.
The last one is, because you described the penis,
Yes.
and it was very...
Can I just say, we were going to give these pictures to Laura as a present. I now worry. No one wants to go home with that.
I don't know where you're going to hang this, Laura.
I sort of went, I don't know, you described the penis and I went into a sort of reverie. It was quite surreal, the way you were describing it. It had angles and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was 75% bell end. So...
MC Escher's penis there.
Exactly. Basically, I've done the thing that you get, in Osborne books and stuff. So that's him wanking, and then there's a little big version of close-up. And then I've just given him standard testicles because you didn't mention the testicles.
Yeah.
So I've given him literally off-the-shelf sort of standard testicles. And then I tried to make the penis... Good call. I tried to make it do the Escher staircase of sort of going down forever. And then I remembered that it was 75% bell end. So then I just had to draw the biggest bell end of my career. Which I was quite pleased with. Yeah.
That is
It's a lovely picture.
one of the best endings to any show ever.
You thought Famous Last Turds was your low point.
Thank you very much, Henry Packer. Laura.
Very tacker.
Are you going to give them? Can I just thank you all for coming? Thank you so much. This would, if you were a bad audience, then this would have been a really awkward hour and a half. Thank you all for coming. We are here for 2 more nights. If you enjoyed it, then tell people. If you didn't, then take it up with Dido. Thank you very much. Round of applause for everyone that took part. Stop. Thank you very much. Cheers. Good night.